Giving all praise unto Yabashima Shabashima Kodash, double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone, and honest your brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. So I'm going to call this video something to the effect of, is this next in the narrative? Something to the effect of that. And you've seen this situation that's played out over the last 2 years, where basically everything has been locked down. Right, even now within certain places within Asia, I believe China, I think Singapore as well. They got particular areas right now that are still in some sort of a lockdown, and this climate change narrative is being linked up with that. Now, I've only seen one article so far, but this is a link that they could use as a means of oppression, right? The scriptures talk about how this man's heart is deep. They really understand the psychology of people. And from a personal perspective, in my own experience, I've seen people really get swooped up in the narrative that they're given from the media. Like they can't use their own brains to think about how a situation doesn't make sense at all. How the day war starts within the Ukraine, the whole C-19 narrative is just dropped like the same day. That they can't link that up. They can't link up the narrative that these people that were supposed to just drop dead because they didn't get the stabbing jab, well, they're still around, walking around healthy. Right? You got people right now that they're talking about they're feeling sick, they're feeling ill because they've taken that, the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. I think people on their fourth one out here within England as we speak. Okay, I'm in that field. So I'm seeing people get their fourth, kick, stabbing jab, man. I'm seeing that. So I find it very fascinating that people cannot think for themselves. But we know that the scripture says that the Most High has put a spirit of slumber upon a group of people within the earth. And that extends to the heathen as well, because that spirit of slumber, that comes from the red Hebrew Edomite, manipulating your emotions to just live like a beast, all right? To just live like an animal, so easily aggravated into a particular way of thinking. But it's beautiful, and we can see this whole climate change thing. That's going to be a narrative that they're going to push very heavy as they gear up and step up towards their so-called NWO, which is the enterprise of the wicked that the Bible speaks about within the book of Job. I believe it's the 5th chapter and the 15th verse. Also, too, the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, speaks about the enterprise of the wicked, the crafty agenda of the wicked. And this is the emotional hooks that they use to have you, swayed in your opinion into believing what they're pushing out there is some sort of righteous agenda, right? Some sort of righteous laurels that they got out there. And the reality is that they don't. Okay, the reality is they're going to use this so-called climate change narrative, which they used to call it global warming, but they had to switch it up because it was easily proved that the world is cooling down. That was proved, but the climate's always changing, like the brother says out here, the elder says out here, right? The climate's always changing. So they're going to use this climate change narrative too to take even more greater control. And they're linking it up with what? With this whole thing that's just happened here. I can't say that particular word. They probably flag up on the YouTube. But this thing that we've experienced for the last 2 years, we can use the word dis-ease, right? That's happened in the last 2 years. They're saying climate change may be the cause of the future. So we have to stop it, right? Okay, we got to have it to where everybody, their carbon credits are monitored. And if they don't conform to particular carbon credits, then with the CBDCs, they're gonna lose access to particular things, and that's a very, very, very easy thing to set up. You got an electric car, okay? We're gonna program your car to only do a certain amount of miles. Otherwise, the car's just gonna shut down. They could do that now. They can literally have a situation where you're gonna do motorway miles. You're on a motorway. And the car says, look, now you've reached your limit for the day, and the car will drive itself to the hard shoulder and park itself, lock you out. They really got this technology. They got the technology right now to seize your funds because it's all digital. You don't have real access to cash. They can seize your funds, man. Right? You got smart TVs, smart watches, smartphones, smart fridges, smart washing machines. What do you think that's all about? That's all a system of control, right? Once you reach a particular limit with your carbon credits, because we don't want these diseases coming back now, do we? Okay, we don't want these diseases coming back now, do we? So we're gonna have to limit your carbon credits. This is it. Boom, 50 carbon credits. Oh, you're at 49. And the phone, your little wristwatch, your smartwatch starts vibrating. You got one more carbon credit before you get locked out for the day. Oh, you've taken too many showers. You got smart showers out there. You have smart showers out there. Okay? Everything's supposed to be smart out here, but it's all a means of control. And they'll sell you a narrative like this to put them hooks within your emotions. As animals migrate to new habitats, they bring with them diseases, right? At least 15,000 new cases, at least 15,000 new species to species viral transmissions could take place in the next 50 years. Esau's kingdom ain't gonna last that long. I can tell you that for free. As the so-called global that is warming drives wild animals to migrate towards human territories. But hold on a minute, I thought it was a global, increase in temperature. You see how none of this really makes any sense when you really look at it through the lens of a thinking man. Laws will be a thinking man. They're saying the whole world is heating up, but animals which would otherwise be shaded in the forest are going to leave the forest to be exposed. So what are you talking about? Now, if you said wildfires, okay, I could believe that, but what are you actually talking about? Okay. To migrate to human territories, according to a study, right? There's people that have Amalek has got all kind of money that pays off these studies to be published. Researchers warned that these animals could spread diseases such as this SARS, right? Ebola. We saw the Ebola. They used the Ebola narrative a few times. Zika, they used that back in the past as well. So can you see how they've used these things in the past before? They've used Ebola in the past before. They used that out there within Africa, right? But it didn't really kick off like how they wanted to kick off. I believe the story goes, right? But they've used Zika. Zika was what, about 10 years ago? They had the Zika going around. 8 years ago, they had that going around. Okay. While some argue the C19 began in the laboratory, many scientists believe that the C19 jumped to humans at a wet market. So hold on a minute. Can you see how fucked up this is? They're saying, right, the global warming, and which we know that's one of the things that they're going to use as a means of control when this MLTB system is set up. We know that that's like one major aspect of the MLTB, the carbon credits and monitoring your so-called carbon limits and all of that. That's all going to be a major proponent in that whole ecosystem that Esau is trying to set up. So they went from animals moving around, right, from wild territories to human territories, to somebody killing an animal and selling it on a wet market. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, a guy's gone out there. He's fine. You know how Moab is. They seen a bug that creature and thought, ooh, let me put some soy sauce on it. Sold it in a wet market, and now they're trying to say that's because of global warming. It's like, what are you talking about? This article doesn't make any sense. But again, to the uninitiated, in the words of Bain, this makes the world of sense. But a wet market implies that somebody was doing some farming. Or hunting, sorry. Okay, they hunted some animal, put it on a plate. So what are you talking about? How does that link up to the global warming thing? Doesn't make no sense. But it's all a narrative that you're being sold. Such markets where live animals and meat, live animals and meat are sold alongside each other, have been condemned as hotspots of animal to human viral transmission. Again, what's that got to do with global warming? The scientists are now warning that the climate change could replicate conditions of a wet market. Okay, so that I already made my point on that. So I mean, you can read the rest of it for yourself. So you can see this whole thing. All right. Okay, you can see the way things are going. I was just reading that article. Yeah, who needs more proof? This is all a big, huge, big, steaming pile of baloney. Certain people are waking up. Humans have a immune system, right? The USA has a bioweapons lab. All right. What else? What other people are saying? No, that's a funny one, right? And you put it in all caps. No future, can't say that word, can be avoided if the US don't pay foreign nations to set up labs. Oh, this is a good point. This is a damn good point. How silly people live and travel all, and that's a damn good point. That's a damn good point because people take all kind of holidays to the safari, man. Right? They take all kind of safari holidays. They take all kind of holidays all over the place. It's like, come on, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. But can you see how these things are being linked up? Right? We're hitting that precipice. Anyways, that's the video. What I'm gonna say, all praise unto Habashima, Habashima Kohako, double honors unto the apostles of great millstone. Honor your brothers to be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.